Dear students, very glad to meet you with another episode on grammar. So, your course is Communicative English. So, how do you communicate with others? Through speech. And when I say speech, we come to an important topic, direct and indirect speech. Now, what is direct and indirect speech? If I address you directly, it is direct speech. When you go home and tell your parents what I told you, then it is indirect speech or reported speech. You're reporting my statements, my utterances, my sentences to others. So that is direct and indirect speech. That's the division there. So you can keep on transforming sentences from one kind into the other. You can transform direct into the indirect. You can make the indirect sentences into the direct ones using the direct speech. And of course, when I talk about direct speech, punctuation plays a key role. So you should pay attention to the inverted commas, to the ordinary commas, to the full stop, to the question marks, to the exclamatory marks, because all these relate to different kinds of sentences, statements, imperatives, exclamatory, interrogative or questions, all these. Now you would have learnt all the different kinds and the transformation right from standard 6 onwards. We will just practice a few of these sentences given in your text. Now look at exercise A. Change the following sentences in the direct speech into those of the indirect. So you are converting it from direct into the indirect. Look at the first question. Because there is a question mark, it is an interrogative sentence. What do you want? He said to her. Now, there are quotes actually before what, and after want you got a question mark and it ends with another quote. So that is the utterance directly given by the speaker. What do you want? He said to her. Now remember, this said to gets changed to asked. Whenever it is an interrogative sentence, said to will be transformed into asked. So he asked her. Remember, there should be no to after asked. He asked her. If it is a statement, he told her. Never write told to her. Okay, he told her that he wanted something. So here is a question. So he asked her. Now look at the question. What do you want? So it's a WH question. So you retain the WH there. The WH question is retained here. That word indicating the question is retained. But afterwards the structure changes. So he asked her what. Now go back to the question. Do you want? So he is talking to a woman, a girl or a lady, her. So that you refers to the person whom he is talking to. So you change that you into the pronoun she. So he asked her what she wanted. Never write what did she want, because remember children, it is still a question. What do you want? What did he want? What did she want? So a question remains a question in that manner. So here you have to change the position of the pronoun and the verb. So he asked her what she wanted. Now do you want? Do want is of the present tense. It changes to the past tense wanted. So he asked her what she wanted. That is your answer. We move on to the next question. He inquired. So here the reporting verb is already provided to you. He inquired. When do you intend to meet? So here there is another WH question. So in our answer we retain when as it is. He inquired. When do you intend to meet me? So I assume that he is speaking to me. So he inquired me as to when I, again same rule as found in the previous sentence, do intend, present tense, so past tense, intended. When I intended to meet him. I know that he is talking to me because he says, when do you intend to meet me? So that you, that pronoun changes into I. So he inquired me as to when I intended to meet him. Meet me. Me changes to him. Now we move on to the third one. Do you really come from Japan? The king asked. So the king is surprised. So the king asked him. If you want, you can add in wonder or with surprise. The king asked him, or the pronoun could be changed. You could also say the king asked me. Now if I take him as the pronoun, this is my answer. The king asked him if he really came from Japan. If I consider the pronoun as me, then this is the answer. The king asked me if I really came from Japan. So do you really come? Do come present tense. So past tense came. So the king asked him if he really came from Japan. If the king is talking to me, I would say the king asked me if I really came from Japan. Next one, Uma said, are you interested in this deal? Now this is a yes or no question. Are you interested? Yes, I am interested. Are you interested? No, I am not interested. So the answer would be yes or no if the question is posed to someone. So for such questions, you use if or whether. That will be your connector. You don't use that. Instead, you use if or whether. And remember, after asked, you should never use that. You will get that question under error spotting also. Uma asked him if he was really interested, if he was interested in that deal. So this deal changes to that deal. So Uma asked him. So said changes to asked because it's an interrogative sentence. Asked him if he was interested in that deal. Or Uma asked me if I were interested in that deal. So this is how you transform it. So be careful about all these terms. Change in the pronouns, change in the tense of the verb. Now question number 5. Reena asked Meena, will you meet a girl like Sheena? So there are too many nas here. Reena, Meena, Sheena. All rhyming. So Reena asked Meena. Again look at the type of the sentence. Type of the question here. Yes or no question. Will you meet a girl like her? Yes, I will meet. No, I will not meet. So again you use if or whether in your conversion. Reena asked Meena if. Now will you. So interchange the position. So Reena is talking to Meena, another girl. So instead of you, you use she. If she, will changes to would. If she would meet a girl like Sheena. Sentence number 6. The king thundered, let those who insult me know that I shall not tolerate it. So the king is very angry. He wants to teach them a lesson. So he's shouting at the people. So he brings out that emotion through the words with anger. So the king thundered with anger. Thundered. He's shouting a lot with a loud and bold voice filled with rage, with great anger. The king thundered with anger. Now he's telling something. Let those who insult me know that I shall not tolerate it. So he stating that those who insulted him. So insult, the question you got the present tense, you change it into the past tense. Those who insulted him. The pronoun me changes to him. Should know that he would not tolerate it. Now remember children, don't literally transform shall into should. So here it shows the situation. I will never tolerate such things. I shall not tolerate it. So in your answer you use would. That he would not tolerate it. Look at the next sentence. The teacher told the children, please do not eat raw and overripe fruit. So here it's like an advice given by the teacher. The teacher advised the children. Now whenever you have do not, you change it to not to. The teacher advised the children not to eat raw and overripe fruit. So either raw fruits or overripe fruit. Question number 8. The doctor said, let the child take rest for some time now. It is a suggestion or an advice by the doctor. The doctor suggested that the child should take rest for some time then. Remember now changes to then. So carry out all these changes in your answers. Question number 9. The accused said, Your Majesty, please do not put me to death. So here he is begging or pleading the judge not to put him to death. I promise I shall never repeat such a crime in the future. You should show mercy on me. So here you got almost 3 sentences. So try to use proper linkers and try to go in a smooth manner from one point to another. So the first point, the accused pleaded with the judge not to put him to death, addressing him respectfully as His Majesty, Your Majesty. So it is a respectful term, my Lord. All these are terms of respect. So the accused is actually asking the judge for mercy. So he respectfully calls him as His Majesty. He further promised, so that is how you move on to the next sentence. You give that word further. He further promised that I shall never repeat, so he would never repeat such a crime in the future. So shall should not be changed to should. Instead, you just change it to would. He would never repeat. Can't say he should never repeat. He should never repeat is said by others. You should not do this hereafter. He should not act in such a manner. Therefore, he himself admits that he would never repeat such a crime in the future. And then look at the next sentence. You should show mercy on me. So he urged the judge to show mercy on him. So he keeps on repeatedly asking the judge for mercy. So you bring out this emotion with various words like pleaded earlier, then further promised, and then urged. So that is how you rephrase. 10th one. The master said, listen to my lecture attentively. Note down all the main points and get prepared to answer my questions. So this seems to be an instruction given in class by the master. So you could use the word instructed. The master instructed the students, then listen to my lecture. So it's a command. So to listen. If it is affirmative, to plus verb. If it is negative, not to. Bring in the word not. So here they are supposed to listen. So instructed the students to listen to his lecture attentively, to note down all the main points and get prepared to answer his questions. Master is the speaker here. So the student should get prepared, get ready to answer his questions. Report the following sentences. Again, nothing but transforming it from the direct into the indirect. The teacher explained. So here the reporting verb is already given there, explained. It snows in the mountains in the winter. Now what is the special feature of these sentences? Here we are talking about eternal truths or habits or incidents that keep recurring. They never change. So here you do not change the tense of the verbs within the quotes. I'll tell you how you do it. The teacher explained, it snows in the mountains in the winter. So every winter this is going to be a recurring feature. This is going to happen regularly. During every winter it's going to snow in the mountains. So you use the same tense, the present tense there. The teacher explained that it snows in the mountains in the winter. Did you get the point here? It snows in the mountains in the winter regularly. So no need to change the tense form. It is a fact that will happen permanently, constantly. So you need not change the tense, even though the reporting verb is of the past tense. For universal truths, for proverbs, for things that happen habitually, that is regularly without any change, you don't change the tense of the verb within the quotes. My grandmother informed me a diamond is the hardest element. So this is true. Diamond is supposed to be the hardest element. Whether you use it or I use it or the earlier generations had used it or the forthcoming generations will use it, diamond is going to be the hardest element. This property, this feature of the diamond never gets altered or changed. So my grandmother informed me that a diamond is the hardest element. So you shouldn't say a diamond was the hardest element. Then it would appear as if now some other hardest element has replaced the diamond. It is not so. Yesterday, today and tomorrow, this is going to be the hardest substance. It's a universal fact. So you use the simple present here. Retain it as it. Question 3. My friend often tells me all that glitters is not gold. So look at the reporting verb tells, simple present. So you're not going to change the tense of the verb within the quotes. And moreover, this is a proverb. All that glitters is not gold. It's a proverb, it's a universal truth. It is true forever. So my friend often tells me that all that glitters is not gold. So you would notice that I haven't changed the tense of the verb within the quotes. The tourist guide pointed at the temple and said, these temples were built during the Chola era. So Chola reign, when the Cholas ruled this place. The tourist guide pointed at the temple and said that those temples were built during the Chola era. So here past tense is retained. I am not changing it into the past perfect tense. Those temples were built during the Chola era. There is no harm in saying had been built, but it's better to retain the same tense here. It's not going to make much of a difference. The teacher told the class, knowledge is power. So once again, knowledge is power. It's an eternal fact. It's a true statement that remains true, remains permanent forever. So the teacher told the class that knowledge is power. You retain the tense of the verb within the quotes as it is. Simple present doesn't get altered here. Now another exercise, change the following into indirect speech. The boy says, I am very nervous to attend school. So it's happening now. The boy says, simple present. So whenever the reporting verb is of the simple present or of the future, you do not change the tense of the verb within the quotes. So the boy says, it is of the simple present. So the boy says that I am very nervous. I refers to the speaker who is the boy. So you use he, the pronoun he. The boy says that he is very nervous to attend school. So you cannot say the boy says that he was very nervous. So retain the present tense as it is and say he is very nervous to attend school. It happens now. It shows his present condition, his present situation, his feeling of nervousness. They will say. So you see that the reporting verb is of the future. They will say, we will not be able to come home early for dinner. So the pronoun can be changed but not the tense of the verb within the quotes. So they will say that we refers to the speakers, they. So they will say that they will not be able to come home early for dinner. We say we cannot live without water. So we say is the reporting verb, simple present, and it's a universal truth. Nobody can live without water. So we say that we cannot live without water. So the same tense form of the modal is retained. Cannot remains the same, present. The forgetful old lady always questions me, where do you live? The forgetful old lady always questions me, asking where I live, not where I lived, as we do for normal statements where the reporting verb is of the past tense. Here questions me, simple present. So the verb within the quotes does not change. The tense of the verb within the quotes does not change. So where do you live? Where I live, present tense. Number 5, my aunt will say. So will say is the reporting verb. It is of the future. I am fed up of your pranks. Pranks, mischiefs, tricks. So my aunt will say that. Now here I refers to the aunt. It is of the feminine gender. So she. You replace the pronoun I with the pronoun she. My aunt will say that she. Now I am fed up. When you use she, the corresponding verb is, which is of the simple present. My aunt will say that she is fed up of my pranks. So please observe all the sentences carefully. Look at the tense of the reporting verb and carry out the changes according to the tense of the verb. Now you got a passage. So we'd been doing individual sentences. Now we've got a complete passage. So read the following passage and rewrite in reported speech. Have you finished reading the book, Mohan? Said Mr. Money to his son. So Mr. Money is talking to his son. We know who the speaker is. We know who he is speaking to. So Mr. Money is asking his son a question. What is that question? Have you finished reading the book, Mohan? We also come to know that Mr. Money's son's name is Mohan. No, Dad, said Mohan, feeling ashamed. So Mohan is a bit guilty. He says he admits that he has not completed reading the book. Why not, Mohan? So father wants to know the reason. Because it's not interesting, Dad. And I'm sure I shall never finish it by this month. So the boy is damn sure that he would not finish it by the end of the month because it's not at all interesting. He doesn't like to read it. So let's see how to transform these sentences in the passage. So first part, I bring the speaker first, Mr. Money. What did he do? He asked a question. So asked whom? His son Mohan. Mohan, remember, is the name of the son. So Mr. Money asked his son Mohan if he had finished reading the book. So remember all your rules. Have you finished reading the book? Yes, Dad. No, Dad. So this is a yes or no question. So you'll have to use if or whether. So if you're using whether, please mind the spelling. W-H-E-T-H-E-R. When we refer to the climatic condition, it is W-E-A-T-H-E-R. Don't mix up both and come up with a new spelling as W-H-E-A. It is wrong. So it is W-H-E-T-H-E-R. So I've chosen the word if here. So Mr. Money asked his son Mohan if he had finished reading the book. Have finished, present perfect. I change it into the past perfect, had finished reading the book. Now in the question it says no dad. So whenever you have no, you could say replied in the negative. Suppose the boy says yes dad, replied in the affirmative. Remember to include the word the there, in the negative or in the affirmative. So Mohan, feeling ashamed, replied in the negative. So what do you mean by replied in the negative? He admits that he has not completed reading the book. Then the next question in the passage is, why not Mohan? So this is another question from the father. So make it very clear. Mr. Mani further asked him. Whom further asked? Mohan. So further asked him why he hadn't done it. Why not Mohan? So you cannot write why not. So why he hadn't done it. Done what? Done the action of, done the task of reading the book. So why he hadn't done it, or why he hadn't completed it. You could use appropriate words to bring out the meaning. Now look at the answer given by Mohan. Because it is not interesting dad, and I am sure I shall never finish it by this month. So he expresses his displeasure at the book. He gives a reason and he also indicates that he is not going to finish it. So Mohan explained that he hadn't finished it because it was not interesting. So because it is not interesting, because it was not interesting, and that he was sure. So you got that conjunction, and I am sure. So and that he was sure I shall never finish it. He would never finish it by this month. Once again pay attention to the auxiliary verb shall. So the modal shall, you don't say should. Instead you convert it to would. He would never finish it. It shows his intention. It shows his belief. He is not going to complete it. So he would never finish it by this month changes to that month. This changes to that. Now you got one more bit of dialogue. So read the conversation given below and complete the paragraph that follows. Now, why didn't you go to school last week? This is a question by the father. And what does the son say? I was not well, Dad. I had fever. Father says, what will happen to your notes? Have you completed all the assignments? The father is worried. So you can see his worry in his question. What does the son say? Don't worry, Dad. My friends have helped me with my notes and my assignments. So the son has taken care of his studies there. He has made proper arrangements. So he assures his dad. He comforts and consoles his dad, telling him that the matter has been taken care of. So how shall we transform this? Now let us look at the answer. Why didn't you go to school last week? This is a question by the father. So the father asked his son why he had not gone to school the previous week. Now he had not gone. This is past perfect. Why didn't you go? Didn't go, past tense. So past tense changes into the past perfect tense. Why he had not gone to school. Now last week changes to the previous week. I am writing in the form of a paragraph. I was not well, Dad. I had fever. So the son replied that he was not well and that he had fever. So it means the same. He had fever indicates that he was not well. So you could elaborate that and write. He was not well and that he had fever. Now what does the father say? What will happen to your notes? So the father anxiously asked him what would happen to his notes. What will happen to your notes? What would happen to his notes? Full stop. No question mark there. Then father further asked one more question. Have you completed all the assignments? So he also asked him, or he also asked his son if he had completed all the assignments. Have completed, present perfect. Had completed, past perfect. Then don't worry, Dad. The son assured him not to worry, and then he says one more statement there. He makes one more utterance there. So and added that his friends, my friends, that changes to his friends, have helped me. Have helped, present perfect. It changes to had helped. Had helped him. The pronoun me changes to him with his notes and his assignments. So the notes that he has to write and the assignments that he has to do. So with his notes and his assignments. Now phonetics is an important aspect of language. The way you speak, the way you pronounce words. Now this is a very important feature that you have to pay special attention to. Only when you speak properly, you will be able to impress others and people will know that you got a good command over the language. But this is not an easy skill to acquire. It requires lots of practice, lots of hard work and lots of training. Now mind you, we need not imitate the foreigner and speak with the pretended accent. We just pronounce words in the normal way, in the right way. That would do. Instead of rolling our tongues too much and instead of putting an artificial scent to it. It would suffice if our speech is understood well by the others, if it is very clear. At the same time, we've got to improve our skills, and therefore, this book on communicative English focuses on the aspect of pronouncing words and producing the sounds properly. So here you got some phonetic symbols that indicate certain sounds, and you got plenty of examples. So it gives you ample scope to practice these words and to refine and improve your speech. And another interesting fact, you got tongue twisters. You know, tongue twisters right from a little kid to an adult. Everyone enjoys it. And it's a very difficult part of the language. Try to speak it fast. Definitely all of us will make a slip and we will go wrong. It would be comical and all those around us would start laughing. So it takes special talent and technique to pronounce words properly, right? Now you got a tongue twister. So read it aloud. When you read it slowly, there will be no problem at all. Only when you repeat it on a faster note, you tend to fumble and mix up the sounds. The younger brother touched his uncle's umbrella, right? I'll repeat it. The younger brother touched his uncle's umbrella. So like a game, you just sit with your friends and just ask them to read it rapidly, and you will see what a lot of sounds emerge from their mouth, all jumbled sounds and jumbled words, and it would be a very enjoyable experience. This sentence is somewhat easy, but there are very difficult tongue twisters. I'll provide a list of these at the end of the class. Now here we are focusing on the sound. It's a vowel sound, So you got the letter U that represents this sound. So the sound you find it within 2 slant bars. So that is called phonetic transcription. The first page of your dictionary will give you all these phonetic symbols. So when you have some time, please go through that and try to learn the proper pronunciation. Vowels, diphthongs, consonants, the proper manner of pronouncing them is given there. We will have a separate class on phonetics later, and there you would be able to understand all these better. Now we focus on this sound So identify the sound in the following words. So you can see that the first word is C-U-T. How do you read it? Cut. Okay, C-U-T is cut. So that U gives you the sound. Next word is flood. F-L-O-O-D. Flood. So even though you got 2 O's there, you get the short vowel there. Flood. You don't say fluid. Similarly, P-U-T is put, but C-U-T is cut. Okay, remember all these. Then young. Y-O-U-N-G. Young. So that O-U, that gives you the sound. Puzzle. P-U-Z-Z-L-E. Again, that U gives you the sound. Puzzle. Among. A-M-O-N-G. That O there gives you the sound. Tough. T-O-U-G-H. That O-U again represents the sound. So we'll meet with more and more such phonetic symbols, sounds and words with the right pronunciation further in our classes. Thank you very much.